Hello, everyone. My name is Josiah Umidriki. I am the founder of Each1Teach1 Tech, and I serve as the Chief Technical Officer. And I have my CEO. He's not here with me. He's the co-founder with me here, and I will be presenting alone with you guys. And what I'm going to be going over is very simple. It's an exploit that's been performed on a regular basis as a result of vulnerability that I found in a lot of web applications and the codes. So, and today I will be presenting here with um, what we call cross-site request forgery, which is very prevalent in web applications. And here I am showing you the things we're going to talk about. I'll make sure they get a little bigger so you can see it. Okay, so the question is, what is cross-site scripting? What is cross-site request forgery? Sorry, not cross-site scripting. They are related, but they're not the same. They have differences. So, where one will initiate with phishing and allows you to modify whether on the client side or the server side, following the protocols that are used in communications. It will start with phishing and then lead you outside. And at the end of the day, the idea is to get the cookies that you have, so that way they can perform some unauthorized action using legitimate authentication procedures. Now, for cross-site request forgery, they are almost kind of related, but what you need to understand is for cross-site request forgery here, the attacker forces an already authenticated user to submit a request to a web application against which they are currently authenticated. So you're already authenticated, but you are now forced to submit a request to a web application against uh, the current authentication. So therefore, exposing yourself to maybe section ID or some kind of unique identifier that validates the request that you are making. In this case, a post request. So CSRF attack exploit the trust a web application has in an authenticated user. That's something that you have to remember. So the assumption is that you're already authenticated, but now you're being forced to make certain changes. You're being fooled or forced. Maybe on a blog post, you see a hello or some string that sounds good, and you click on it, not knowing there's a script behind it that basically will effect some changes for you. Okay? And then when that changes are effected, then that is being used against you because you already authenticated in that blog post. And then we're using your section ID now to perpetuate other other access to other portals. So we're using that to move laterally wherever we can use that. So that's cross-site request forgery for you. Now, another example for those of you that are not aware of web applications, another way you can understand this as an analogy will be in the case of Windows environment. So in the Windows environment, we have something called anonymous logon user in the NTAuthority domain for Windows operating system. That's making it as simple as possible. So that's another example there of where that situation can happen. That's could be considered a vulnerability if someone can get access to use that to move laterally and do other stuff. Now, there are conditions that you must have in order for you to be able to exploit this kind of vulnerability. So, as an attacker, there are conditions that must be held. Some of them, like there are three of them. Now, remember, this is CSRF, wherein there's no defense for it, meaning there's no CORS or any other countermeasure in the web application to stop this. So this is just plain vanilla. So the first condition is actionable function. So there has to be an actionable function. For example, post action, which is a method in the request that you can make back and forth from a client to a server, server to a client. And that could be vulnerable to modification by a permitted authentication. So you have an actionable function. Say you have a form object. In the form object, you have where you can put values like an email. In this case, the input type would be an email, and then the value held by the email would have been the actual email string itself. So these attack will now leverage the fact that that placeholder or the index or the child object in the form where you're gonna put the email is vulnerable to modification of some sort. That's one condition. The second condition is that the section handling for the web application must be completely cookie based. So that's one of the ways that it will work. And now the third condition would be that the parameter in question, the parameters in question here as such that they are not unpredictable, meaning that parameters have to be predictable. They don't have to have anything following suit, maybe announced and etc. They don't have to have that. So these are the things that I wanted to bring to your attention before we move forward. So this experiment is, first of all, this lab is by Portswigger, and we're using their tool called Burp Suite. Okay, Port Swigger, and their tool that we're gonna be using is called Burp Suite. So I think I have Burp Suite running. I have it running already, so we should be good at that. So next thing I have to do is to log in to the browser here. So there's one thing I wanted to remind you guys to do. What I wanted to remind you to do is Burp Suite will use, it will normally align with Chromium browser, especially the professional, Burp Suite Professional. It will align with Chromium browser. I'm sure Burp Suite Community Edition does the same thing, but I'm quite familiar with the Chrome, with the Burp Suite Professional, and that's what I'm using. So as you can see here, I was just trying to show you guys the intercept. Initially, when you started, you don't need to turn the intercept on because you want to make sure that your internet connectivity is not maligned, that you can really access all the links that is provided by Portswigger to carry on the lab. So in this case, I'll go ahead and get out the HTTP history because we will be looking at some post and get requests to see what's going on as we follow on the lab. So let's get started. Here I have already created an account. I will check the email, follow through for the password. This here is not the email we're going to be using. We're going to be using a different email. So this is an expire section. Okay. So we can go back to it if it allows us. And this is our website. Like I said, we're from Each1Teach1 Tech. And this is where we provide registered apprenticeship program as a service. And this is the opportunity cost for you watching us. Okay. Now, with no further ado, we're going to get right into it. So I'll go grab the password. Once I grab the password, we'll be on our way. So I don't want you to see that. And I just moved it swiftly. And I will get the password and we will be on our way. Okay, so let's do this. All right. So I'm about to get the password. And once I get it, we're going to be fine. All right. Copy link address. So I copied the link address and I come back here and I put it here and I hit enter. It should take me to where I will get the password. So I put in the name. I'll put the name of our apprenticeship program or the name of our nonprofit organization. I'll put that down. This is the password. I copied the password. So now that I copied the password, the next thing I have to do is to go get the lab. Okay, I will get the lab and we're gonna take care of it. So I think the lab is here. Maybe I should just log in here with the lab and we should just be fine. Okay. All right. So the lab is here. Let me see. Yeah, the lab is here. Like I said, I'll just log in. We'll get to the lab. So the email address we use is this one. That's gmail.com. And the password I copied, I'll paste here. Once I paste it here, and I'll check to see if the password, the email is correct. It looks correct to me. Now I log in. You should be able to log in. Note that all these things that I'm doing is basically, they are all basically being grabbed by Burp Suite. So that's how powerful it is. It's just a good tool for web application penetration testing. Penetration testing, web application penetration testing is fun. And if you pay attention, it could be the love of your life. And you will be happily married. I don't know how to say that, but it is what it is. And you will be married happily ever after. Okay. So moving forward, I will have to find the URL that I'm looking for, which hosts the lab itself. And that we're going to follow the direction in the lab to perform the exploit. Just give me a few minutes. I will find it and we will execute it. Okay, it seems like I found it. Copy lab notifications. Now we're gonna go here. So I have my password. I have where I log in. I have this one here. Paste. Okay, fine. So we should be okay. It says page not found. So I'll just remove the user and I just go there because if you can see, if you look at it carefully, you can see I made a mistake there. All right, let's see how this one turns out for us. Web security, CSRF. I don't know what's going on here. Oh, okay. I noticed that now. I noticed what happened. Okay, so we're here. We're already logged in. So let's take a look at the lab itself and see how we can effectively carry on the lab, and everything will be just fine as we do the lab. All right. So the lab is as follows. This lab email change functionality is vulnerable to CSRF. It's telling you that the email change functionality is vulnerable to CSRF. Remember, initially when we started, I was explaining to you guys that that's one of the conditions that's going to be needed. It's over here. I did explain it to you guys. That's that over here. Okay. So there's no doubt about that. So we know it. And now to solve the lab, we have to craft a HTML that uses a CRF. In the HTML body, you could have a script that do the work. That then you deliver to that from the exploit side, we get delivered to the victim itself. Okay. So now we have to change the viewer's email. The assumption is that the viewer or the person that owns the account will be in the blog site. Okay, we have to change the email and upload it to our exploit server. With that email, we can, do all kind of stuff with it. Now you can log into your own account. The account they're referring to is the one we're going to be acting as if we are just an ordinary user. So they have given us the username and password, which you can see here. Some of the hints is that you can't use the same password because you want to show the viewers the change when that password is changed, right? So with that being said, we can access the lab. Okay, we can do access the lab now, and we can also, while we're accessing the lab, we can go through solutions that they provided, step-by-step process to solve the problem. Okay. All right. So we have it's loading, and we will be looking at it while we get rid of that one. So we wait for this one to load. It takes a little while sometimes, and we wait for it to load. Once it's completely loaded, we'll be happy. Now, this is the blog I was telling you guys about. It's just gonna be like a blog like you on a regular blog, and you're just doing what you do in the blog. And at this time, you're trying to make a change in your account. So the instructions that they have given specifically says to open Burp's browser and log into your account, submit the update email form, and find the resulting request in your proxy history. It says open the Burp browser and log into your account, submit the update email form, and find the resulting request in your proxy history. And then after that, you do the number 2 step. Number 2 step requires that you right click on the request and select engagement tools, generate CSRF POC, and then enable option to include the auto submit script and click regenerate. Alternatively, if you're on Burp Suite Community Edition, you can do the same thing, but the difference is it's not going to generate the HTML tags for you automatically as it will do in Burp Suite Professional. So what I can do at the end of the program, I can copy the code, the HTML tag, and post it underneath on the YouTube section, so that when you do the experiment, when you do the lab, if you're on Burp Suite Community Edition, you can copy that and make suitable changes. So let's go. Now this is the blog site, just like any blog site, any portal where you can go and make some changes and modify things. But in this case, the email form, or the area where you're going to put that email, is vulnerable to CSRF, and the conditions we have already stipulated the conditions. One of those conditions would be that there had to be an actionable function, which in this case is defined. And there has to be the section ID handling have to be cookie based. And the third one is that the parameters should be such that they are not unpredictable, which simply means they are predictable. In that case, we'll be successful. So let's follow the instruction. My account, the username is Winer. They already gave it to us. And the password is Peter. They gave it to us. So they say that I can log in, and once I log in, I can go over and grab that information. Okay, so they say open Burp browser, log into your account, submit the update email form, and find the resulting request in your proxy. So there are two things we're going to looking at right now. So once I log in, this form will be submitted. But after that, we still have to see another form to submit that email request form. We're going to submit that form too. So let's do this. There's going to be a post request. When we look for it in the Burp Suite, we're going to look for post request, and we're going to check the time that we have here is 6:28, and I'm going to click on this, log in. So once I log in, we're not saving anything. Once I log in, we're going to quickly go to Burp Suite, and we're going to look at the very bottom of it to check for any request that is we posted it. So I can scroll all the way down, not to waste time. I scroll all the way down, and I'm looking here. I've already seen a post, but they're not related. And I look carefully again. I see another post. This one says login, and I check the time is 6:28, which is the correct one. So when I click it, it kind of will give us the information. Yeah, you see here, username, password. It tells us that's the one. And then we look at the host. Of course, it's supposed to log in, and I said right, etc. We see all this stuff, and there's a lot more information. The cookie, this session handle is cookie based, but we're not going to determine that right now. Let's go ahead and see what we get for update email. Once we update that email, let's say we put This is our email here, right? The whiner at normaluser.net. So the email I'm gonna put now is gonna be this guy. Okay, that's just that. Then I update it. We go back to we'll go back to Burp Suite ticket, and we'll look at the Burp Suite. You see, my account is right here. That's a get, but we're looking for my account, the one that says change email. That's the function. Change email function has a vulnerability in the email part of it where you can do CSRF. So let me show you more details. So I click on this, the detail part of it, and you will be able to see something down here. Look down here, the email is stipulated XYZ. These are in ASCII, pound 40. That's basically @ and all of that. So we check for the conditions to make sure that it's vulnerable. Yeah. So the action is post action. Change emails right there. And we're looking at the host. Yeah, we know it's coming from the same domain. Now look at the cookie session. It's cookie based session handling, and this is the unique identifiers, possibly the section ID. That's that section ID. So it's cookie based. This makes sense. This is it right here. Now, when you look at this, you look at the information, the parameter is very, very predictable. It's just the email. There's nothing else following it. There's no nonce or random number that makes things hard for us, which means if you have a random number, the server will be expecting something all the time, each time there's an exchange where there's a post or get. So if you cannot predict the next number, then you won't be authenticated and you're not going to be able to carry out the exploit. But in this case, we've been able to see that this exploit, no defense, CSRF is possible here. This is the lab for no defense web application. So now let's go back here and go to the exploit server. While we're doing that, it wouldn't hurt to check over here to see what step we have to take next. We have to do step 2. We have to finish step 2. We were right on step 2 before I came back here. So on step 2, we are advised to check on the action, yeah, look at entanglement 12, and look at the generate CSRF POC. And then we were also told to make sure that this include auto submit script is checked. So we look at it, it's checked. And we look at everything, look at the email that we have is the same. Now it's in UTF, the @ and whatever are all in UTF being separated by the semicolon. And now this is the HTML tag. This is the body here. From here to here is the body, and in there there's a script. Interesting. See what's going on there? All right, good. So it says once we check all of that, we have to regenerate. We did regenerate, and then we copy the HTML. If you have a confusion with what we're doing, you can still go back and read that. So we regenerate, we copy the HTML, copy the URL, right? It says copy, can change. Number 2, regenerate. We've done the regenerate. Then 3, go to the exploit server, paste your HTML layer by the section, and click store. So we're going to do exactly what they asked us to do. Now we're going to verify that the exploit works by viewing the exploit and then check the resulting HTTP request and response, which means we're going to change our email again. So we're going to go over here and paste what we copied on the body. Sorry. So usually when you go to one of these blog posts, you might have a hyperreference to a word, like maybe cryptocurrency hyperreference, but behind it you don't know there's a link or URL that can basically send you somewhere else. Okay, basically send you somewhere else and make you run a script underneath it. All right, so just beware. So I'm going to paste this here,
Once I paste this here, you see, it says to store it. I didn't make any change anywhere, but I know everything that they told us to do, we did it. And this is generated by Burp Suite Professional, as you can see right here. Yeah. So now I'm gonna start this, and it says when we start it, if we want to see if the change was made, we can view the exploit. So I did exactly what they said. You see the change was made. You see XYZ at Gmail. Now the next step to be able to complete this and get the congratulations for completing it, we look at the next step. It says to verify that the exploit works, you do this, we did that, and the next thing we will do, we'll check the Burp Suite to see if that change was effected. After that, we'll change that email again. Okay, this is what we're gonna do. Let's roll. We're gonna go back to Burp Suite. We go back to Burp Suite. We're gonna get rid of all the other ones, and we go straight to this one here. We go down, check the time, it's 2:30, 6:35, 6:34, so we should find something there. My account right here. Change email. Change email is 6:35. See? There you go. It's a post. So if we click it, we get the information down there. So we look at the bottom here, information. You see that email here? It tells us it was changed, right? It was changed from what it was before, correct? So moving forward. So what do we do next? What we do next is follow the instructions as they were given, basically. So we did number 4 and it worked. Request a response. We looked at it. Now we have to change the email in our exploit so that it doesn't match what we already have right now, and then we deliver that to the victim. That's how they want us to do it. So we go back to the exploit server. We go back to the exploit server again. You see here, we can change the email by, let's say we can just add 1. Yeah, we can just add that 1 there. See, change the email in your exploit so that it doesn't match your own, and deliver to the victim. The problem is solved. So we gonna do exactly that. I change the email by adding, maybe I should add 1B. Let's just say 1B, so it will be vivid and very clear. So it says once we do that, we deliver to the victim. We deliver to the victim. So congratulations, you solved the lab. The lab is being solved. So now we go back to that, deliver to the victim. The lab is solved. So we've solved the problem. Now problem is solved, like you see it is done. It's solved. Now to show that the problem was really solved, we could just go to Burp Suite and see for ourselves, because Burp Suite was intercepting it anyway. So we go here, we look at the time, 38. So we're going to see a post here at that time. My account post here is 38, as you can see. There are a couple of posts going here, but this one is important to us. So when you look at that, look down here is 1B. So it was affected for sure. The change was done, regardless of what we're seeing in the web application and the web application here. So the change was done. That's how we end this. But thank you guys for paying attention and watching closely what we were doing. Again, my name is Josiah Ulizurike. I am the founder of Each1Teach1 Tech. Each1Teach1 Tech is a nonprofit organization. It's also a registered apprenticeship program that focuses on providing the tools and resources needed by the underserved communities to help them remain gainfully employed, especially in cybersecurity. So keep up with what we are doing. Follow us, and we have a lot of activities, and we need all the support we can get. And we're trying so hard to, be of great benefit to our community. I also wanted to use this opportunity to present this nice application called Switchboard. Switchboard is amazing. It does a whole bunch of stuff. You will be shocked at things you can do with Switchboard. and I want you guys to take a look at it, switchboard.app. Okay, and finally, the opportunity cost for what we do in the day is this. So take a look at our website and see all the good stuff we offer and see where you can fit in to help and assist as we hone the skills out here in South Carolina and around the globe. Thank you so much for watching. Take care. Bye bye.